Hello there! Today we're going to be talking about metric units of liquid measure. Now everything that I have here is not metric. I just wanted to have some comparisons for you. A 2-liter drink that a lot of people in society drink, that is 2 liters, okay? So 1 liter is 33.81 ounces. So 2-liter drink is going to be about 67 to 68 ounces, okay? Now, 1 liter is 33.81 ounces. 1 quart is 32 ounces. This is a quart. You see my largest jar sitting there? That is a quart. That's going to be the closest thing to a liter that I have. Remember, the 2-liter drink is 2 liters, not 1. So you got to imagine that being half of that. If any of you buy the large bottle drinks at Sam's, I don't purchase those. If I did, it would be a great example. I think they are liter size, some of their bottles. So if you have one in your cabinet, you might want to go take a look, or in your refrigerator. Okay, metric unit of liquid measure. Please highlight liquid capacity. The basic metric unit of liquid capacity is the liter. A liter is slightly larger than a quart. A kilometer is slightly larger, a kiloliter, I apologize. A kiloliter is slightly larger than 264 gallons. Wow, okay? Let's take a quick look. There's 8 ounces in a cup, 2 cups in a pint. There are 16 ounces in 1 pint. 2 pints is equivalent to 1 quart, which is 32 ounces, okay? So, a liter is going to be a little bit larger than this quart. All right, I went and got something else that a lot of you see on a daily basis. Aquafina water is 16.9 ounces. 16 plus 16 is 32. 9 plus 9, okay? So you are a little over 32. You are very, very close to a liter right there, aren't you? Okay? Because you would there are 6 ounces, so if it's, let me see, so if that's 16.9, 9 and 9 would give you 18, so that's 2 more, so that's going to be 34, a little over 34. This is just a tiny bit bigger than a liter, okay? So that gives you something to kind of go by. Let's take a look at these metric prefixes. Who remembers what page they can find these metric prefixes in the back? Let me show you again in case you missed it. 348, okay? We talked about that yesterday or the day before. Okay, so we have milliliter is 0.001 liter. Centiliter is 0.01 liter. Deciliter is 0.1 liter. Decaliter is 10 liters. Hectoliter is 100 liters. And kiloliter is 1,000 liters, okay? Over on this side, you have the whole numbers. Over on this side, you have more of the fractions, right? Only a part of the liter, right? Okay. Now, let's go ahead and go to fill in the blanks with the metric prefixes, and let's do this together. Number 1, 0.001. Look, guys, all you have to do is look right there, and that answer is milli. Okay. Deca means 10. How would we know that? See the 10? That's a deca, okay? Now, 0.01, we've got to go over here to the fraction side. Centi, see that? So you write centi. Now we are on what means 100. So go over to the whole number side, and that's hecto. So you go back and write hecto, okay? 0.1, you're on the fraction side or the decimal side. That's deci, okay? And then kilo is 1,000. You're on the whole number side, right? There's the 1,000, okay? The next one says, I'm going to hold my phone to the side, Cross out the measurements which would not be an appropriate answer or estimation of each question. There may be more than one correct answer to the question. How tall are you? Okay, it gives you some options. These are pretty tricky. Let's do number 1 together, okay? How tall are you? Okay, hang on, where am I at? I think I actually skipped something. I'm sorry, guys. Let's go back to number 2. Circle the items which you think contain more than 1 liter and underline the items which you think contain less than 1 liter, okay? Remember, that is about 1 liter. 2 bottled waters, okay? Or 1 quart. So, would a coffee cup, do you think that would be more than 1 liter or less? Less, yes. So you will underline it, okay? Kitchen sink, more than 1 liter. Circle kitchen sink. Picnic jug, more than 1 liter. Circle it. A car gas tank, more than 1 liter. Circle it. A juice glass. Is a juice glass this big? Is it this big? Not typically. So that would be less. Underline that one. What about a tablespoon? A tablespoon's probably a little bigger than the spoon you would use to eat your cereal. That will be smaller. So underline it. What about a bathtub full of water? Does a bathtub take more or less than this much water? More, yes. So you will circle it. What about a swimming pool? Will this fill up a swimming pool enough for you to swim in? No. So swimming pool will be bigger. Circle it. What about an eyedropper? Smaller. Underline it. Yes. Good job. Now, we are down to 3A, where I had jumped to accidentally. How tall are you? 25 centimeters. It's about 2.5 centimeters in an inch. So that would be a real good way to measure how tall you are. So let's X that one out. What about 5 meters? Oh my goodness, there's a little over 3 feet in a meter. So that's not going to work. We don't need 5 meters to measure us, do we? What about 14? What is that, guys? Do you see that DM right there? That DM? Okay, let me tell you what I would do if I were you. I would go back to page 348, okay? And I would look for the little DM. Do you see that? Okay. Well, that is going to be decimeter. A decimeter is 1/10 of a meter, right? Okay, so let's go back over here and see if that helps us. If a decimeter is 1/10 of a meter, is that what it said? Let's go back one more time. A decimeter is 1/10 of a meter. Okay, if a meter is a little over a yard, and so about 39 inches, right? So, see, a meter is slightly larger. See that? A meter is slightly larger than 1 inch, okay? So, 1 yard. So let's say about 39. So divide 39 by 10, you're about 3.9 inches. So let's just say right about 4 inches, okay? So let's take that and say, okay, 4 inches times 14, okay? 4 times 14. So that's going to be a very realistic height for you. So you would not X that one out. Now what about 4.5 feet? That's also very realistic. So don't exit that one out, okay? That said, how tall are you? Now, how long is a pencil? Okay, it says 20 millimeters, okay? Do you remember that the millimeters is kind of like eyelashes? Do you remember that? So 20 millimeters is about like, if you think about lining up 25 eyelashes, that's not going to work very good, or 20 eyelashes. What about 7.5 inches? That's a pretty good guess for a pencil, isn't it? And by the way, some of you like to trim your pencil to 20 millimeters. Ha ha. You remember some of those I would take from you and throw away? But that's not a good length, is it? So 7.5 is a good length. Okay. What about, some of these I can't see through my X's. 2 meters. 2 meters is going to be too large to measure a pencil. Remember, it is a little bigger than 2 yardsticks, or 2 of my meter sticks. I'm sure you remember that at school. 20 centimeters. Remember, there's about 2.5 centimeters in an inch, so that would be a very reasonable length of a pencil. So this is not real easy. You don't just go and say, okay, you know, you have to kind of think about it a little bit. Make sure not to be afraid to look at things that you might need to know. Now on page 348, I love this because anything you have about these measurements, if you need to go back and take a look at the meter, the centimeter, see, a centimeter is slightly longer than 1/4 of an inch. You see that? Okay. So I might have been a little off when I said about 2.5 centimeters. But anyway, you do realize that. So to be exact, a centimeter is slightly longer than 1/4 of an inch. So there might be closer between 2.5 and 3 centimeters in an inch. Okay. So if you will finish that on your own, and I want you to go to this divide and check with me. I really want you guys to get this by the end of the year, and I want to see improvement on the next test. You can do this. Okay, this number is less than a 5, so we're going to go with a 4. How many times will 4 go into 3? No. Will 4 go into 37? Yes, but 42 has to go into the 370. So draw a line above the 370 so you make sure to put your number above the 0. But whenever you're asking yourself about the 4, you say, how many times will 4 divide into 37? This is your estimate. 4 times 8 is 32. So you put your 8 up here. 8 times 2 is 16. Carry the 1. 8 times 4 is 32. Add your 1 you carried for 33. Subtract, you will need to borrow. This will become a 10. 10 minus 6 is 4. The 7 will become a 6. 6 minus 3 is 3. Then you bring down your 9. Then you ask yourself, how many times will 4 go into 34? And that is 8. 8 times 2 is, am I looking at something wrong? Okay, that's 8. So you say 8 times 2 is 16, carry your 1. 8 times 4 is 32, plus 1 is 33. 9 minus 6 is 3, 4 minus 3 is 1, remainder 13. Then don't forget to check. I don't want you to miss 2 points on your test by not checking. I know it seems like a pain, but it's just a 2-digit multiplication problem. And if you will be patient and work through it, you will get it in no time. Okay, let's come over to D. Let me see if you can see D on my phone. I'm going to have to come away and let you see 2 answers, but that's okay. All right, how do you add decimals? You just keep the decimals in line and add them. Now, do you see the 62.9 in D right here? That's a little tricky because you're going to want to put your 6 here, your 2 here, and your 9 here because you're going to want to line those up. But you have to line the decimal up, okay? Does that make sense? Okay, let's do one word problem together. Missionaries to Grenada, Reverend and Mrs. Ortwell, are home on furlough. They drove 5,200 miles over the last 13 days, visiting, supporting churches and pastors. How many miles did they average each day? Okay, they told you that they drove 5,200 miles, 13 days. So you 5,200 divided by 13. That's another 2-digit divisor, isn't it? That will give you your answer, okay? That will give you your average answer. And you might have seen my answer, but I'm not going to give it to you. I want you to figure it out yourself. Okay? The next, number 7, is just multiply and checking. We haven't had a 3-digit multiplier in a while, so please be very, very careful with that. I don't want to give you the answer, so I'm just going to show you where I am. Okay, work really carefully on that. And then at the bottom, work quickly. You're just going to multiply. And then at the very bottom, you're going to need to use your ruler. Now guys, you are going to have a ruler on your next test, if I'm remembering correctly. So if you don't have a ruler, you need to be picking one up. Okay, and for today, you're only going to highlight liquid capacity at the top, and then you're only going to highlight the ruler at the bottom. It says use your ruler and draw a 4-inch line. Then mark 1/4, 3/4, 1 1/2, 2 1/4, 3 1/4 inches on this particular line. Okay? I hope you guys have enjoyed today's lesson, and we will talk soon. Bye-bye.